All right, well, welcome to you all. This is the last day of our program. This is the last of the 3 series. This is Transform and Thrive with Plant-Based Foods, our summer cooking series. And what we've been doing is just doing some very simple summer recipes to show you really how simple it is to eat plant-based and just how to bring in whole foods into what you do. In addition to that, we're showing you how to incorporate essential oils into your plant-based recipes. At the end of our preparation, this is a very simple preparation today. What we'll do is we'll talk a little bit about the Transform and Thrive culinary program that we have going on. And so in that, I'll just kind of give you a little recap what we created the first day. The first day, we actually made some tacos. We used like a chicken salad tacos, but we were using butter lettuce, something that people don't typically use. They usually use like arugula and some of these other lettuces, but we built a beautiful chicken salad and we created tacos using the butter lettuce. In day 2, we made a simple summer stir fry. So we used things like Napa cabbage, we used some organic tofu, and then we also used udon noodles. And we featured some various essential oils in that. We use lemon essential oil. I believe we use basil. We're going to use basil again today. And so today what I wanted to do is focus on a sweet, because everyone wants a little something sweet in their life, particularly in the summer. And for me, a lot of the sweets that I make, I really try to stay away from making pastries. As much as I love them, they don't serve me well. And I know that we can still get our sweet, tooth happy, but we don't need to necessarily bring in all of the carbs and all of the sugar that we bring in when we use a lot of the flours and make those kinds of pastries. So with that said, what we're going to do today is we're going to actually just use some fruit that are very much summer inspired and some fresh herbs. And then we're going to also use some essential oils to accent them. Okay. If you have any questions as we go, you're welcome to ask your questions. Okay, guys? All right. So what I'm going to do is actually change my view. I'm going to change my view to my cutting board because I want you to look at my cutting board. So you should still see me off to the side, but then you should see my cutting board. All right. All right. So tell me if you see my cutting board. Is everybody cool? Can you see it? Yes. 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 We good? All right. So if I don't,
Yes.
okay, I'm assuming that you can't hear me. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually use some peaches today. Peaches are very much summer. All right, peaches are very much summer. So we got these peaches. There's actually a place in Georgia that have some really awesome peaches, and they're called Pearson. Pearson, that's the name of the farm that actually grows the peaches. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna actually cut up our peach. And I don't know about y'all, but I love peaches. I actually look forward to having peaches in the summertime. And the cool thing about peaches, you can actually cook these, just eat them as is. It's completely up to you, right? So we have these peaches here. Has a nice core in the middle. I've actually seen some of these peaches now, and that's how you know you need to stay away from them. They don't actually have a core in the middle. They have something that looks like a core is trying to form, but they've been somehow modified genetically, and there's no core in the middle. So we definitely want to try to stay with fruits that have seeds in it as much as possible. What I'm doing here is I'm just cutting this peach off of its core and making nice little slices. So with this, I'll just kind of cut around it. Do this. Yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll cut this. All right. So we have this. I'm going to cut this a little bit more. So I have these really nice slices. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually add the peaches to the bowl. Okay, add the peaches to the bowl. All right. So one of the things that I would say is that when you are eating any kind of summer foods, remember, like you want to be mindful about eating in season, right? And so when we say eating in season, we're always looking to source the foods that we eat that are grown locally or grown during that time of year. So sometimes, depending on where we live, we are not fortunate enough to buy local produce because we don't all have farms around us. I'm, lucky to live in Atlanta. We have a lot of urban farms, and then it's just a very big agricultural space, right? So with that, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we are sourcing as much of our produce, locally as possible. And peaches, we're lucky here in Georgia, we can actually find peaches. All right. So we have our peaches in. And then what we're going to also bring in, which is very summer, is, you guys know what this is? You guys can say, you can drop it in the comment if you like. What is this?
Is that a
summer.
papaya or not?
Cucumber?
What did you say?
Cucumber?
Oh, this is a cucumber. All right, when I cut it, I'm not going to tell you just yet. We're going to cut it, and then we'll see if you know once we cut it. Okay?
Papaya.
It's a papaya.
Papa, right. So I'm from Guyana, and we call it papa. We call it papa in Guyana. All right, so here's the thing. A lot of times what people do with the seeds, they get rid of it, right? But these seeds are absolutely incredible for your body. It actually has a very peppery taste. They taste a lot like peppercorns, right? So what some people do is they'll pull it out like how we're doing here, and they'll just throw them away. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna actually add them to our salad. We're gonna just add it, okay? And papa seeds are super good for your digestive system. Okay, very, very good for your digestive system. So if you're one of those folks that needs some support with your digestion, this is what you need. Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the texture like are they like, when you bite them, are they crunchy or kind of soft?
So you're talking about the papaya?
Correct, the seeds.
Oh, the seeds. So the seeds are kind of crunchy. Yep, very good, very good. So they're kind of crunchy, and they're spicy, right? So if you could imagine a peppercorn, right? If you could imagine a peppercorn, what you would get when you bite into a peppercorn is a little bit of a kick with the heat. It's not the same kind of heat, but that's what it's synonymous to me of, right? It's that. So when I eat, anytime I eat papaya or, with the seeds, I just like, whoo, it's definitely the spices coming through my nose and everything. But what that heat is doing is it's just helping to break things down in your digestive system. So it's something that you really need, and you can just eat all of the papaya. All right, so I'm showing you now how to take the skin off. You just get a knife, a nice sharp knife. I'm using a serrated knife here, and I'm just running the knife. I'm running the knife through the back of it. Okay. This has grown quite a bit in Guyana, places like Trinidad, just other countries too, in Southeast Asia, very like where it's hot. Some people have even tried to grow it here in Georgia, but unfortunately we have a change of season. So some of those tropical foods that we like, bananas, papayas, once we get a frost, it kind of messes up everything. All right, so we've just kind of taken the skin off, and we can kind of disregard that. And then what we're gonna now do is we're going to just cut it into small pieces. And then we're going to add it to our bowl. Okay. So the other thing I want to kind of remind you all of as we think about eating in season is making sure that we bring in a lot of fruits in the summer that have a lot of water. And so these two foods in particular have a lot of water in them, all right? So it's all about being hydrated. And so we want to be mindful of that. And so one of the ways that we can definitely hydrate is through the fruits that we drink. You notice I'm saying the fruits that we drink, and the fruits that we drink is really the foods that we're eating. So things like watermelon, that's another fruit that you drink, right? Very considered a living water. Coconut water is another living water. Celery juice, living water, all right? All of those things are things that help to keep us hydrated, and they have a lot of great nutrients in them that's going to support our well-being. All right, so we're making a really simple summer fruit salad. So we have the papaya or the pawpaw, we have peaches, we have the papaya seeds, and then what we're going to also add in this is a little bit of lemon, all right? So all of these are organic. I just need a little splash of lemon. If you have lime, you could also use lime. And we're just going to squeeze it in. Okay. I'm going to add that in. We're also going to add in a little bit of honey. Not too much, but this is a Georgia grown. Whenever you're looking for honey, you want to make sure that you get something that's locally sourced, right? So particularly like in the South here, we have this Georgia wildflower honey. And for people who might have allergies and things of that nature, you want to make sure that you grab a honey that's going to support, you know, if you have like hay fever or you get allergic to, you know, pollen and things of that nature, you want to make sure that you get a honey that's going to support you in that way. And this Georgia wildflower honey is just that. All right, so I'm going to mix this up. Now what starts to happen a little bit when you use any kind of sweetener, and mind you, we just put a little bit in here, what's going to happen is this is going to start to macerate just a little bit. And what we mean by that is the sugar helps to draw out some of the juice, some of the liquids from the fruit. This happens when we use salt too, right? But because we're making a sweet, that's what's going to happen here. So I'm going to let this do its thing. It's going to just create a little bit of liquid, just a little bit. But then I also want this to really coat the papaya and the peaches well. Okay. Okay, now, while that's doing its thing, we're going to also add in here, this is straight from the garden, we're going to add in here some mint. Okay. We're going to add in some mint, and it's so fragrant. So there are different herbs that complement fruits, and papaya and peaches go very, very well with mint and something else, right? They also go well with basil, okay? So we're going to cut this up, all right? We're cutting that up, and we're going to add it to the bowl. Okay, we're going to add this to the bowl. And then what we're going to add in here is some Basil Essential Oil. Some Basil Essential Oil. Now, I use a brand called doTERRA because it's really good stuff. Not only that, it's food grade. So when I'm doing any kind of recipe using, you know, plant-based foods, particularly if it's raw like this or live, I want the best quality essential oil. So I'm going to actually add in, all I need is one drop, just one drop, because basil is one of those really strong essential oils. By the way, some of the health benefits of using basil, this is actually really good for being outside. So like, you know, bugs, if you're outside working in the garden and you're making like a nice like spray for the body, you can use things like lemongrass, citronella, basil, and these things actually help to keep the bugs away. It has a beautiful fragrance. Very like, it's just very uplifting, very strong. And basil is a complement to peaches and papaya as well. So we have the mint in a physical form, and then we have the basil in the essential oil form. So like, look how pretty this is coming together. It's just simple, lovely, just glorious. And then we have a little bit of the lemon juice. So I really like what we did here. We actually have 3 things, right? So we have lemon juice, we have basil essential oil, and then we have peppermint, the actual herb, right? So we're using 3 different things to accent the flavor here, but we're doing it in 3 different ways, right? The juice, the herb itself, and the essential oil. And so with that, anytime you're kind of like bringing in flavors like that, you're helping to kind of layer the flavor. You're layering the flavor by bringing things in that way. Okay, so I'm going to bring this over so you can see, and we're going to play. Very simple salad. And it's just refreshing. So just imagine packing this up. You go into the park this weekend, lay out on your picnic blanket. You have this already packed in like a little bowl, little to-go bowl, nice and chilled. And you have your basil and your papaya infused with your wonderful lemon and peppermint and the basil essential oil and all that good stuff. Right? So peaches, papaya, and all the accoutrements. And then of course we're going to add a little bit of those papaya seeds. Can't forget those on top. Simple and beautiful. Simple and beautiful. All right. What do you guys think? What you all think?
If you hadn't shown me, I sure as heck wouldn't be eating papaya seeds.
You wouldn't have been eating them?
No, but I'm curious to try it now.
Yeah. I mean, just look how pretty that is. I mean, I'm going to just tell you, it is an acquired taste. But no, let me say this. When we're eating foods, some foods that we eat are not always the tastiest. They're just not. Let's just be honest about it, right? But they're medicine, right? And they're medicine for our body, okay? And so we want to make sure that, I want you to always think about this. If you're throwing away more of the fruit or the food than eating it, then you're probably missing out on a lot of nutrients. Okay, let me say that again. If you're throwing out more of the foods, right? Like let's say you cut off the skin of the apple and you take out the middle, then you're really getting rid of a lot of the nutrients. You should try your best to minimize what you throw away when you're making meals with whole foods. So everything has a purpose, right? Everything has a purpose. So those seeds have a purpose. The skin has a purpose. The meat has a purpose. And if you're disregarding those things, then you're missing out on some significant nutrients, because really, in a lot of cases, like I'll give you a perfect example of this. Potatoes. People usually skin the potatoes because that's something that we've been taught to do. But if you're buying, let's say, an organic potato, then there's really no need, or organic carrots, there's no need for you to take the skin off, because all the nutrients, a lot of the nutrients are in the skin. You just need to scrub it down real good, and then you cut that carrot, potato, whatever it is, up, and you eat it with the skin on. Now, if it's not organic, that's when we have to be concerned about taking off the skin, because we don't know if it's been sprayed, things of that nature, right? But if you're throwing out a lot of the foods as you're preparing foods for yourself, your family, then you're probably getting rid of some nutrients that you don't need to get rid of. All right, so guys, I'm gonna actually taste this. It's so fragrant. You smell the basil. Wow. It's so good. It's not too sweet. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Any questions? Any questions about this? What are some of your favorite summer fruits? I'm curious. What are some of your favorite summer fruits? You guys can.
Watermelon for me.
Watermelon.
Oh, yeah. Watermelon is like the go-to. Those sugar babies are incredible. Yes, I love watermelons. Mangoes. Any others people want to shout out?
I like cantaloupe.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too. That's a real good one.
Muscadines.
Ooh, I haven't had a muscadine in so long, but those are amazing.
Yes. They grow on my family's farm. I probably have eaten way too many in my lifetime.
Muscadine, they remind me of grapes, and that's another one. People actually they'll suck it, put it in their mouth, suck out all the meat, and then maybe sometimes they'll throw away the skin because it's kind of tough. But I say to you now, just kind of work through it, eat that skin, because the goodness is in the skin. Just chew it, take your time. It reminds us to take our time. The skin reminds you to slow down with your chewing and really enjoy your food, because the skin is a lot tougher than the actual inside, right? In some cases. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful fruits that you guys have mentioned. So I want to just kind of remind you, I do cooking, like, Chef Bee, I do meal prep, and I also am a chef educator, and I do quite a bit in helping people to transition to a plant-based diet by teaching people how to get back in the kitchen and be creative with plant-based food. So we actually have a culinary program. It's called Transform and Thrive with plant-based food. So it's a culinary and coaching program. We have been doing this program for the last year. We've now graduated 2 cohorts, and we're dealing with folks who are just really excited about eating more plant-based foods, but they're not as creative and they just don't know how to put things together as easily as others. So I actually started this program during the pandemic, and I started with one person, and then many of my coaching clients decided that they wanted to participate too. And in the process now, we have these 2 groups of students who've just finished up, and we're getting ready to start our 3rd cohort on July 21st. All right, the program is a 6-month program. We cook together twice a month over a 6-month period, so that's 12 sessions. And we get into how to use the essential oils. We get more deep with that. How to use essential oils in your plant-based foods. We get into food as medicine. So we have a clinical component to the course now, where if you are someone that's dealing with high cholesterol, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, things of that nature, some of the chronic diseases, we talk to you about how to eat for your chronic issue. And so we now have that component into the course. We also talk about raw foods. We talk about meal prepping. We talk about just how to use certain foods in the kitchen that are considered substitutes for the things that you would typically use if you were not a plant-based kitchen. And the students leave there feeling really empowered and just more in alignment with just how to do what they need to do in the kitchen, because not everybody feels comfortable in the kitchen. And the other big benefit of the program is we have community. So you're cooking with other people in community, and we're asking questions, we're learning, we're getting deep with certain recipes. We talk about cultural foods, international flavors, and actually we do explore my style of cooking, which I call Afro-Caribbean Asian fusion. So a wonderful program starts again July 21st, and we go till first part of January or early part of January. So I'm encouraging you all, if you're interested in really kind of taking your wellness to the next level, if you're interested in, just really doing some different things in the kitchen and you need a little bit of health coaching in the process, you need some support there, then this is a program that you might want to consider, okay? I would say for those of you who missed the other 2 sessions that we offered, the 2 classes, we do have those recorded, and we will send out the recording to everyone who registers so that they can kind of look back at all 3 of the classes. Very, very simple recipes. I also think that when people think about eating plant-based or just being in the kitchen, they think that it takes a long time, and it does not have to be that way. We put this together. This is something lovely that you can have as a breakfast. You can have it as a dessert. You can have it as a snack, and it didn't take very, very long. I was just talking through the process. And so just again, reminding people that they can be empowered while taking care of themselves and taking care of their families. And that's really what it's about right now. We need to be mindful about, you know, what we're putting in our bodies, where we're getting our foods. And we just need to get back into the kitchen and not outsourcing all of our meals to people. Because I know, you know, I mean, that's what I do for folks. I do meal prep, and I'm excited to do meal prep for people. And I also think it's important that people maybe once or twice a week, they cook for themselves and they bring that energy back into their spaces. So that is our Transform and Thrive program. I am super excited that you all participated in this session. I wish that you all could have participated in the earlier ones, but that's okay. We have all the recordings for you so that you can go back. And, you know, we do have other programs as well, but this is the one that I'm really, really excited about. If you have any questions about anything that we've done here, if you're interested in a program, you could always schedule some time to chat with me so that we can, you know, answer your questions more in depth. All right. Any questions? Any final questions before we jump off? Any questions? Anybody? You good? All right. So you all enjoy the rest of your Friday, and please look for the recordings for these wonderful sessions. And I hope to see you all very, very soon. Stay connected, and please make sure that you take care of yourself and that you're getting back in the kitchen and creating, because that's where the magic is and where one of your creative outlets can be, just being in the kitchen and preparing foods for yourself and your family. So much love to you all. And awesome, awesome Friday. Yes?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.